A very good afternoon to one and all present here. Myself, Dr. Sujata Bahati, Professor from the Department of Oral Medicine and Radiology, Maratha Mandal Snataji Rao G. Halgekar Institute of Dental Sciences, Belgaum, Karnataka. Take this wonderful opportunity to clarify your doubts related to the PhD opportunities in my institution. Under these contents, I'll be dealing my entire project. So coming to the admission process, as we all know that in Karnataka state, the topmost university which offering the PhD degree in dentistry includes the Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences, Bangalore, our institute, Maratha Mandal Snataji Rao G. Halgekar Institute of Dental Sciences and Research Center, which is also affiliated to Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences, Bangalore, and where the Department of Oral and Maxillofacial Pathology is recognized for PhD in dentistry. So this department, we have Dr. Ramakant Naik, principal, who is the guide for the PhD, and also Dr. Vijay Lakshmi Kutrashetty also is a guide recognized from the Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences. Apart from these two people, we also have Dr. Madhu Puja from the Department of Conservative Dentistry and Endodontics, who is also the guide for the PhD students. So to talk about the schedule, and most of the notification and application starts in the first week of April, and the date of examination starts in the last week of April. And before the enrollment, the students are supposed to take a entrance examination and they have to clarify with that examination, and then they will be proceeded further. So the result of this examination will be announced in the second week of June, and the submission of the preliminary synopsis is done in the second week of July. And also we see that the presentation of the synopsis before the committee will be done in the second week of August, and the provisional acceptance and the commencement of the session starts from the month of September. To enroll yourself for the the PhD program, so the students should be the citizen of India and the master's degree in the relevant field from the recognized university. Minimum required marks is 55% for the general category and 50% for the reserved categories. There is no age limit given here. And also you ensure that you check the syllabus and format of the examination and try to choose the guide and the supervisor and try to select at least 4 to 5 topics which are very much close to your heart. And choose the guide, and also the chosen guide should be also recognized from the RGHS and also should be in the institution which is affiliated to Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences. So all the candidates who are intending to register for the PhD program shall appear for the entrance examination conducted by the university. An entrance examination shall be qualifying test with the qualifying marks as a 50%. The exam consists of 2 papers conducted over the 2 sessions of 3 hours. The syllabus of the first theory paper consists of basics of research methodology and will also carry 50 marks, where 10 marks of 5 marks each will be taken up. And the second theory paper, which will also be subject specific, preferably with the competence of the PG standard, will also carry 50 marks, where 10 questions will be asked with the 5 marks each. The marks scored by the candidate for both the papers put together will be considered for deciding the pass criteria. So the research proposal submission, right to choose the guide and also the institute and the department, and all the candidates must also submit a detailed research proposal which should include the introduction about the topic, research problem and the objectives and review of literature, proposed methodology, expected outcomes and the significance of the study, and the proposal is also reviewed by the subject expert and approved by the Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences before the proceeding. So an interview or maybe the viva was to be organized by the university for the candidates who successfully clear the entrance exam and have been also selected for the PhD course to discuss their research interest or an area through a presentation before a duly constituted university PhD registration committee of the respective faculty. In the research phase, the candidates should conduct their research under the guidance of their approved supervisor. The regular supervisor also, regular progress reports also should be submitted to the university every 6 months, which also should be reviewed and also obtain satisfactory report. Any ethical approvals, especially for the clinical studies, are being secured prior to the data collection. So then they can start with the thesis writing and the submission. Upon completion of the research work, candidates prepare the PhD thesis, and which also includes an introduction and literature review, methodology and research findings, and the discussion and the conclusion along with the references. The thesis submitted to the Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences for the evaluation by the external examiner. So then they will be having a thesis defense viva, which is after the thesis has been reviewed, and also candidates undergo a viva voce, which is an oral defense where they also present and defend their research findings before the panel. This is the final step, and the successful candidates have been also awarded with a PhD degree. Current criteria says that the publication is not a must and should during their tenure of PhD course. And we see that there are two different formats which are available. But one is a full time where the candidate will be taking the course for up to 3 years, and for the part time it is up to 5 years, and with a contact of 45 days to 60 days, which is for the every 6 months. And this is can be reduced once the person who is working and the person who is taking up the PhD and the work what should be done. If it is in the same institution, the duration can be reduced to 1 year, and it will be part-time course can be up to 4 years. To talk about my institution, the Maratha Mandal Nadaji Rawji Halkekar Institute of Dental Sciences and Research Center. So we have a very well furnished, well equipped there is central research laboratory, and which is headed by Dr. Prakash Diwan, and who is the director of the Central Research Laboratory. So, the Department of Molecular Biology and Immunology, which has been recognized as a referral center for the oral biology, which is spread over 10,500 square feet, which also facilitates for the studies on oral microbiology, molecular biology, immunology, cell culture, and natural products in the drug discovery lab. So, the Maratha Mandal Central Research Laboratory is recognized as a nodal reference center for the research work in the oral microbiology under the Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences, Bangalore, and also recognized as a scientific and industrial research organization by the Department of Scientific and Industrial Research, New Delhi, India. It is the first of its kind that the dental institution to have the cultivation and the identification of the anaerobic bacteria from the oral cavity, having more than 34 MOUs with various universities. Our institution has a lot of affiliation with that of the industrial setups and also the NITM, which is a part of ICMR. And most of these the setup which have been done, which follows the CSIR and CPC ACA guidelines and are followed. So the lab has a partnership with various universities and research institutions, facilitating advanced research and offering facilities for cultivating anaerobic bacteria, a unique capability in India. Additionally, the lab is also engaged in numerous funded projects exploring the microbial diversity, periodontal pathogens, antimicrobial resistance, and the stem cell differentiation from the dental sources. So we also have the drill bit software, which is also helping the students to get through the plagiarism. Any plagiarisms are there that can be made to pass through this software, and they also get the clarification of their doubts. So there is no funding of the scholarship provided by the Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences. They have to bear their expenses for staying and also the tuition fee and other expenses related to the study work. So international applicants do not have any opportunity to conduct any kind of a research work with the Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences. So we have a very good staff members where they are very student friendly, and you have to choose a guide and check their interest, and then if that matches with that of yours, then you have to search at least 5 to 6 topics, and then you can contact them personally. You'll get a very good supervision from the mentors, and also they help you in developing your research proposal methodologies, and project design ensures that it aligns with that of the academic standards. So as far as collaboration and networking is concerned, and many of the collaborations are there, as I mentioned before, and we have more than 34 MOUs where we conduct a lot of interdisciplinary research collaborations related to the biotechnology, biomaterials, public health and medical sciences, industry collaborations, and also the public health policies and NGOs, and also the epidemiological research, and also the research facilities which are there in our institution can be utilized by all the PhD candidates, and which could be related to the oral biology or microbiological labs. These labs are being also used to study the oral diseases like periodontitis, caries, and microbial biofilms in the oral cavity. They also include facilities for the microbiological culturing, molecular biology that includes PCR, DNA, and advanced microscopy. So this is the team of the Central Research Laboratory in our institution, and we can see that it is, having the latest technologies which have been installed here, and all the techniques which are followed in our institution, which is spread over 10,500 square feet, what I was mentioning before, and it's really pleasing to work here. And we try lot many herbal extracts and try to check for the cytotoxicity, and we also have the ELISA, which is also can be done as a quantitative and a qualitative testing, and also we have the gel electrophoresis, and also we have the culture media which can be utilized for understanding the culture of various types of fibroblasts and derivation of the stem cells, and also we can subject various kind of herbal products for the MTTSA to check their cytotoxicity. And we also have the very good culture media which are being prepared in our the Central Research Laboratory. Apart from this, we also have the animal house where the breeding of many of the rats is being done, and we can try different kinds of drugs in this animal house also. And we also have an anaerobic workstation where we can conduct various research works related to the anaerobic microorganisms. So we have a very good library facility in our institutions where students can have a good access to the digital libraries and e-sources, and also Helinet, which is one of the greatest resource which is provided by the Rajiv Gandhi University, where they can have the access to both the national and the international journals, and PubMed, Cochrane Library, Scopus, and Google Scholar, and interdisciplinary resources have been also available in our institution. So normal extension of the PhD, as we all know that most of the whatever regulatory norms which are being followed by the Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences, which is according to the norms which are followed by the University Grants Commission in India, which has a specific guidelines regarding the duration and extension of the PhD programs, which our institution also typically follow. The standard duration for the PhD program is up to 3 years, as I mentioned before, and if it is a part-time, it is up to 5 years. Formally, if due to undue reasons or maybe because of the medical issues, if they are not able to continue, and the extension can be given up to 2 years. So post PhD, they have wide range of career options available. They can join as academicians, they can join as a researcher in the research institute industry, they can join the government and policy, entrepreneurship and publishing and communication board, and they can join healthcare sector and pharmaceutical companies. So to talk about the publications and the conferences, and publishing and attending the conference is one of the vital component of the PhD journey. They are supposed to publish their articles, a minimum of one article. Current hypothesis says that they are supposed to publish one article at least, and also they need to attend multiple conferences and project and put their effort in front of the wide range of public, so that they get a good amount of questions, and they should be able to answer those questions, and this is how they can take their feedback about the work what they are going to perform as a PhD scholar. So as far as the student support services are concerned, and our institution is very super so student friendly, and the students who are getting enrolled, they will get a very good amount of support from the working professionals who are there, whether it's related to the laboratory work, or maybe the student material, or maybe the study material, or maybe the staff. So they'll get a very good range of support from all the ends. And with this, I would like to conclude my presentation. Thank you.